Okay. Book 9 summary. To where we read. Anyways. Okay. So, Socrates starts by describing the tyrannical man and his type of soul. Because he just finished describing the tyrannical city. So, the tyrannical man is ruled by lawless desires. Before it was unnecessary, necessary, now it's lawless. They drive this tyrannical man to do all sorts of terrible things. He says, one example of a lawless desire is desire to sleep with one's mother, or to commit murder. These are lawless desires. Yes! Almost! Sorry. Now, he says that the proof that these are lawless desires is they only come out at night during dreams, when the rational part of us is not, there to watch out. But the tyrannical man, he allows these lawless desires to come out while we're not just dreaming. Okay. Continuing with the father-son analogy, the tyrannical man is the son of the democratic man. So the democratic man, the father, indulges in all these sort of unnecessary desires. However, the son just moves further and further towards lawlessness, because the people around him are lawless, because they're free, they can do whatever they want. This is still in the democracy. Everyone tries to win this son back from being completely unlawful, but they fail. Finally, a massive erotic love, as Socrates puts it, is implanted in the son, and it makes him just an awful person. Gets rid of shame and moderation, as he says, and now all this tyrannical man does is he just wants to eat as much food, party as much as he can, have as much luxury as he can, and have as many consorts, probably is the best word for it, as he can. In essence, consorts is probably the best word for it. Finally, he spends so much money on all this stuff that he has to start borrowing money from people. Then, when people don't lend him any more money, this tyrannical man starts to force and trick people into giving them money. He starts doing all sorts of lawless and unjust things to get money, so he can have more indulge in his lustfulness. He gets money out of his parents in awful ways. He starts robbing houses and temples for money, and finally murders people for their money. So, as Socrates says, he's now living in a nightmare. Before, he said the desires only come out at night. That's a nightmare. Now he's living the nightmare in his waking hours. And it's driven by erotic lust. He won't do anything, or he will do anything to achieve this, and he's always unsatisfied and poor, because he keeps spending his money on things that he doesn't care about. He doesn't have any friends, he can't trust anyone, and he's so full of disorder, and he's just completely unsatisfied. So after Socrates says this, everyone agrees, yeah, this is the worst life possible. But then Socrates is like, wait a second, stop, wait a second. There's an even worse life than one of a man who lives a tyrannical life. And this is not someone who just is a private tyrant, as he says, but an actual political tyrant, like someone who rules a city is a tyrant as well. And he says that, imagine that this private tyrant, the guy who's a tyrant by himself, if he's moved with his family and his slaves and whatnot, to a deserted island. Since there's no law to protect this guy from his slaves, because, he mistreats them, wouldn't he be terribly afraid for his life and thought his slaves were going to revolt and kill him? Um, he would be even more miserable than a guy who just acts tyrannically and spends all his money on girls. Um, but this is exactly what an actual literal tyrant is. They rule a city, and are just be tyrants because since they make the law, the people could revolt against them. I'm coming! So the tyrant is the most unjust man. He's also the least happy. So this settles their problem that the just man is the most happy and the unjust man is the least happy. So there you go. It's really all we had to read.